Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live, and thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for supporting my show all this time. This is episode 26, and tonight my guest is Tara Hack. She's a singer, songwriter, guitarist based out of Long Island. So we're just gonna hang tight with her and wait till she comes in the room. I start every show with a song lyric. So while we're waiting for her to get in the room, I'm just going to share this lyric with you guys. It's from Coldplay's 2005 album X and Y from the song What If. Every step that you take could be your biggest mistake. It could bend or it could break. That's the risk that you take. But the risk is always beneficial when the reward is good. So yeah, life is about choices, good choices and bad choices, but you have to learn from both the good and the bad to be a good person. So we are going to hang tight, wait for her to pop in the room, and there she is. Hi guys. Hi Jack, Justin, Tara is in the room.
Hi,
Hi, how are you? Good
I'm
evening.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. So I was just introducing you to the room. I was telling them you're a
Sure.
singer, songwriter, guitarist based out of Long Island. And yeah, how's your night going so far?
It's going pretty good. I can't complain. How are you
Wonderful.
doing?
Things are good. I can't believe it's Thanksgiving. Can you believe in a couple days it's Thanksgiving?
I know. It's pretty crazy. Like we've made it 2020, almost to the end.
I'm honestly ready for this year to be over. So
Likewise.
I, I am not looking forward to the holidays. I just want to get through this year and just I'm ready for spring.
Yes, yes, I agree. We
Win-
missed the spring, so we deserve another.
yeah, winters in New York are cold and not looking forward to that. But we're inside, so at least we can be warm, right?
Right, right, right. Could
So
always be
let's
worse.
yeah, so let's get right into it.
Sure.
From a young age, you realized the power and the symbolism of music. Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Yeah. So yeah, I grew up on Long Island. Billy Joel was a huge, huge influence, obviously. I don't think you can live on Long Island and not like Billy Joel.
You have
They make you move. No, yeah, so he was a huge influence. My parents always had different music on in the house, from Bob Marley. I liked some older stuff, Bing Crosby and Frank Sinatra, and even they were like, this is a little too my parents' music, and so from there, I just always grew a love for music. And then my brother had a toy guitar, so I would play with that, and always the wrong way. And and then I started busking. So I started performing in the New York City train stations and Atlantic Terminal, Brooklyn as well.
so
Kind of
what
grew
did
from
you
there.
start to busk at?
Say that. I'm sorry. What was that?
What age did you start busking?
Um, I want to say like kind of late teens.
Hmm.
And yeah, they had a program. I wasn't in it at first. I didn't make the audition, but they were cool and they kind of let me play if nobody was there. So I finally did get in a few years later and started doing that.
Hmm. So talk to us about busking in New York City, because I mean, I talk to people all over the country busking in smaller cities, larger cities, but New York City is a whole different animal. So talk to us about singing to random in and out of Penn Station and Atlantic Terminal.
Yeah, well, it's cool because you're not the weirdest thing people will see. So
Right.
I think I kind of I made well with that, and yeah, it was so great. I didn't have any bad experiences. I didn't have anybody that was rude or anything like that. I mean, I got very, very lucky.
Hmm.
So maybe it's because people aren't really paying that much attention, and the people who are just really into it, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh. And how long were you playing in the subway for?
Oh, um, gosh, I don't know. At 10 years maybe or so, and then kind of got this opportunity
Hmm.
that I had. I was actually a commuter who saw me playing and performing and said, I want to do a CD with you, and that's where we are now. And I started doing my real debut album now.
Uh-huh. That's awesome. So someone just randomly stopped you and said, "Hey, we should work together."
Yeah, he was like, I'm an executive producer for this movie and I want to have your song in the film. And then I went out to see another film that he was doing and he was like, we should do a CD for you. And I was like, yeah, we should. And so we did. And that's where we are now.
That's awesome. And that's the power of New York because when you're in one of these smaller cities, that doesn't happen. But New York is a whole different animal. So you get the bad,
For
the
sure.
good, everything, but you never know who you're playing for.
It's true. That's actually where I got a lot of my gigs or a lot of any opportunities really that I ever had came through Penn Station. So it was interesting because people would kind of look at you like you perform in Penn Station, but you're like, yeah, when you see the opportunity that's there, you're like, yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah,
course, because there's a lot of musicians that I talk to that don't really want to perform on the street. They're just kind of like, well, I just kind of do my thing. But it's like nobody, if people don't see you, they don't know that you do it.
correct. Yeah. And actually it was Sid Rosenberg from WABC heard me playing in Penn Station and he was like, he thought I was homeless at first.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So I was like, no, 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 this is exactly why I do this. So I can meet people like you. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, wow. No, you're not homeless. You're just a very
No.
talented. But
Like
the
I
thing,
have a home.
if you know anything about Penn Station, there is a crazy amount of homeless people that hang out in Penn Station, and it's like you kind of don't know because
Yeah. Yeah. And it's true. And you don't know. And I actually never had any bad experiences with that either. And I had a case of money and I had people begging for dollars to give to me just for the connection of it. So
yeah.
thankfully, very much, I never had a bad experience with anybody.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's a good record.
How would you describe the music that you create?
It's kind of like what I wanted to create when I was making this album was I said I want to do storylines like Billy Joel with music like Ed Sheeran. So I
Mhm.
wanted it to be poppy. I wanted it to be something that people could just listen to and like, but then I wanted the lyrics to also have substance as well.
Right.
So you try to do the best you can, and but if you aim high, then the failure's got to be better, right?
Right.
Than if you didn't aim that far. So that's kind of what happened.
Uh-huh. So Billy Joel, Ed Sheeran, talk to me about that combination.
Yeah. Well, how so? Just in the sense that of what we were looking for with that, or
Yeah, because I mean, usually
sure.
when that question, how would you describe your music to other people? Just the lyrics of Billy Joel and the style of Ed Sheeran, correct?
Correct. Yeah, yeah. I think that's kind of the best way to put it. I've always been influenced by male artists,
Hmm.
more so than female artists. So John Mayer and well, that's not always true actually, because Avril Lavigne was a huge influence. Vanessa Carlton, Michelle Branch,
Hmm.
Alanis Morissette,
Yeah.
to name a few. Now that I'm thinking about it, but yeah. So yeah, to have the lyrics of Billy Joel and the song, melodies of Ed Sheeran.
And that's an amazing mix as well.
Thank you. I thought so.
Well, because you think about it, like Ed Sheeran is more, most people, like some people, I mean, everybody knows Billy Joel, right? But then within the past 10, 15 years, Ed Sheeran really popped off, right? So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, he actually started the same way. He was busking, and his lyrics. I mean, he's got great lyrics too. It's not to knock his lyrics at all. I
Yeah.
could easily just say him and say he was an influence and be done with it. But um, yeah, he started as a busker performing in England.
Hmm. What's your creative process like?
It's always different. Sometimes I'm just messing around and I come up with something, and usually it's when I'm doing something else. I'm either practicing a scale and then I start playing with some chords, and then I'm like, oh, now I really got to follow this through. I can't continue, you know what I mean? Technique what I was working on.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it starts. Sometimes I'll get a melody in my head and then try to match that with the chords.
Hmm. Do you start writing something and then come back to it at another time?
Sure, yeah. I used to think in order to write, like in order to be good at writing, you have to just get it out in 5 minutes. Because that's what people say. Oh, it took us 5 minutes to write this. And it's like, oh, that's amazing. But to me, that's, well, maybe there's other things that you could say better if you spend the
Right.
time with it. I believe in spending the time with something. And I don't think there should be a time limit. If it comes right out, perfect. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, wait till it does.
Yeah, because you could look at it maybe a week or two later and just have a whole different spin on it and be like, oh, maybe I should put this on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
correct. Like, yeah, no, I was gonna say, I had a song. It's called "Now Not My Wedding, But I Was There," and it started out as the first verse, and it was just kind of about being at your ex's wedding and and being like, oh, I made so many mistakes, like that could have been me, and with you, and that's all I had for since like 2013, and then we just finished that last year. I brought it to a band called Rebel Kicks, who I write with a lot, and we actually were able to record it in England, Abbey Road Studios. So that was really, really, really cool. But I mean, I had that could have been something I didn't finish, and I carried that around for a while.
So were you at your ex's wedding then?
No, no, it was just kind of a, because, you know, as you start to like mid-20s and you get a little older, you're like, wow, people do that. Like they invite their ex to their wedding. And so
Oh,
it's just, it's interesting.
well,
I
because
would
it's like,
never think to do that.
right? I wouldn't want any of my exes at my wedding. But hey, there's people that totally can go and it's all good.
Yeah, to each his own. But I just kind of was like, wow, imagine being that person who was invited. Like, what do you feel? What are you thinking? And I kind of wanted to write a song for that person that I didn't feel like there was one. So
Yeah. No, I definitely think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you put yourself in that mind frame. Like, what would I say? What would I do? Would I be crying in the corner or would I just have this
yeah.
smile on my face?
Yeah, that's pretty much how I write, is like I want to put myself in your shoes, and it's almost like, I guess it's like acting in a way, in the sense that you're like, what is this character thinking and feeling? And it's not always personal. Sometimes it's just trying to relate.
Right. hmm So you mentioned your musical influences: Coldplay, John Mayer, Avril Lavigne, Carlton, Michelle Branch. Like I feel like we could go on and on. What other musicians do you admire?
Oh, all of them? No. I mean, they've all been in some way. Ryan Cabrera,
Yeah.
he was a huge influence, and I was very thankful to have a song coming out with him in December.
Yeah.
On the Way Down was one of my like jams, you know, that first album was amazing. Yeah, I'm kind of blanking now. I think you named a lot of them. Coldplay is a huge, huge influence for me.
hmm What is it about Chris Martin and his songwriting capability that draws you to him?
I think it's his energy. And he's a religious guy, and he doesn't say that. He just kind of lives in that way. And I'm sorry, I'm hearing enough. And
No, I have that
I,
problem too. As a girl,
you know what I mean?
yes.
I was like, I could tuck the headphones back because it's just gonna curl into it. And there's gonna be no getting getting them out.
I love it.
But yeah, so that was kind of for Chris Martin. It was like, you know, I just love everything he's about, how he is, his energy on stage. He makes you have a good time, and he's having a good time, and it's a good time. You know, he's not talking about anything. He's not degrading anybody. It's just, let's all have fun, and I like that.
Yeah, it's such good energy. Have you ever seen him perform before live?
Multiple times. Like, I think I caught them on the same tour in New Jersey. I caught the beginning, and then they came back around again. I was like, I have to go again. So
Did you see the one where we had to wear those wristbands and they all lit up?
yes, I still have mine.
Oh my
And
gosh!
look, I have the pin from it. I
No
wear it still.
way!
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh. So for those of you who don't know and didn't see the Coldplay tour that we're talking about, I believe it was, what was the name of that tour?
Oh, was it a Head Full of Dreams? Was
I
that
think
one? I
so. They gave
think.
us all these wristbands, white wristbands, and then when you went into the arena at your seat, I think you had to like click it on or something.
Yeah, it might have been Milo Xyloto, actually. Yeah. They would like put your hands up, everybody. You know, he would tell everyone, and you just like, oh my God, it was so cool.
It was awesome because then everybody's wrists changed different colors to the beat of the music, and I was just like, I have never witnessed anything like this before in my life. I go to a lot of shows, but
Yeah,
you were at that show, so I'm sure you were just like, whoa, because I was like looking at the lights more than the stage.
for sure. It's like a giant rave. You're like, I didn't expect this, and I love it.
And
It's
I've
cool.
never seen a show like that since, but when I saw it, I was like, this is so cool that they thought of this and to bring us all into the show.
Right. Yeah. He's amazing. I think he's an amazing artist for sure.
He's incredible. What are your favorite songs to perform?
My favorite songs to perform. I just started doing Sky Full of Stars by him, actually. I really like that. But it's been different. I don't know. I've been working on the album so much now that it's kind of like those have been the songs I've been performing the most. I used to do weddings. Actually, I asked to do a wedding today. It's for like September 2022. I was like, I think I'm available. I don't know. But they were a really cool group. So I was like, yeah, of course I'll play with. But yeah, so it's just been kind of it's mostly been album songs.
hmm Very cool.
Yeah.
You've at the bitter end, the Knitting Factory, Penn Station, Atlantic Terminal, like all these places. what are your favorite venues or spots to perform at?
Honestly, I like Penn Station, I think, the best. I kind of miss that. They're not doing it now. I would probably still be doing it occasionally, in Times Square they used to have that. And yeah,
Yeah,
I miss that because I'd see commuters, I'd see friends, you know what I mean? You'd start to see the same people who go to work. So,
right.
which who knows if that's gonna ever go back to that, but
Yeah,
so I enjoyed that. I missed that a lot. Stage shows are really cool. I remember the first time I kind of did it was the bitter end, and then I was like, oh, I kind of get why people like this, and like the knitting factory. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool too. But I was
definitely.
also like, they're watching me, Penn Station. They just kind of go. So
They're
like,
like,
I gotta get used to that. They want to
yeah,
pay attention.
they're locking eyes with you. It's like, oh, they're here to see me. They're not just like running to catch their train.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
being like, hey, I'll see you later. I was like, okay.
So you talked about this briefly. Last November, you recorded at the legendary Abbey Road studio in
Yeah,
London. How
yeah.
did this opportunity come about for you?
I was playing a show. I had a gig at the Marriott across from the Freedom Tower,
Hmm.
and I was playing Hallelujah, and this is so weird. And something I swear could have just clear as day said to me, "Why don't you do this at Abbey Road?" Because I was kind of like still doing it on my own. I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, that would be freaking cool." So I texted my buddy Gary, who's my engineer as well, and I said, "What do you think about recording at Abbey Road?" He was like, "Well, yeah, but can we?" And I was like, "Why not?" So then we started making these cover songs, and I kind of said to anybody that would see me at Penn and just put that up in terms of ads and stuff like, hey, we're trying to do a trip to Abbey Road, so any money that we get is really going to go to that. And I just got flooded with people just trying to donate for that. So I appreciate that they trusted me, that I was I was definitely using the money to do that, which it did all go to that, and for giving me that experience, because without them I wouldn't have had it.
Hmm. So how does a musician actually get an opportunity to record there?
So they have a studio called the Gatehouse Studio.
Okay.
It's a new one, and anybody can book time there and record.
Hmm.
So I was thankful enough to kind of they had it where it was available, and I was able to get it.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Just for you to tell those people that are watching you, like, oh, hey, like any money that you donate, it's going towards my trip.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. It's going towards an album. It was supposed to be my first EP, and then this kind of all came together at once, which I guess that's how it happens, right? When you kind of,
Right.
I believe in like, manifesting and the energy you put out. So it's kind of like, we wanted to do something great, and other great things happened. And because we were that was what we were aiming for. So
That's incredible. Was that your first time in London?
no, it was my second time, and I actually like wrote in a status on Facebook or something like a few years ago when I had went, was like, one day I'll record here. And I didn't even remember that until it came back up in my memories, and I was like, wow, I
Hey!
guess I've been manifesting for quite some time.
Yeah. No, I think I'm all about that. Like when you write things down or you
For
say
sure.
them, and then it's like, oh my God, I said that 3 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, and I believe in that. I really do. Why not? If you think that you're gonna do something, then you kind of act in that way, and then you do it. So
Yeah.
I've always tried to think positive in terms of that.
That's amazing. Very cool. Which member of the Beatles is your favorite?
Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Paul because I like his personality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
And he's
have a
lefty. He's lefty like me.
He's a left, very few lefties.
Yeah. I
You
know,
have,
it's a toss up, right, between Paul and John, I feel like sometimes, for the majority. Who's
yeah.
your favorite? Do you have one?
I like George.
Mmm.
Yeah.
Throwing the curve. All right. George is good. Yeah. My sweet
But
lord.
but then Ringo was touring all the time.
Yeah. 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 They're the Beatles. Anyone's a good one.
Doesn't matter who you pick, but
Exactly.
there's never a wrong answer. Do you
Exactly.
have a Paul song?
Do I have a favorite Paul song?
Yeah.
Is that what you said? I don't know. Actually, I don't know if he wrote this. I think it was him and John, but Oh Darling.
Hmm.
I love that song. I think it's just such a beautiful song, and it reminds me, it has like the same beat as the Eagles' Please Come Home for Christmas, and I love that song, so it makes
Yeah.
sense as to why I would like both.
Awesome. You've released a bunch of music this year. She Wants to Be Loved in July, Let Go in September. Not my wedding, but I was there in October. Then you're going to be releasing the song with Ryan Cabrera next week. What can you tell us about this music that you've been releasing in 2020?
It's it's been excuse me. I can't tell you. No, it's been the last year, and we've been working really hard to create music and to get the best of the best. And I think that's what we have out of what we were able to do.
Mm-hmm.
I always think there's room for improvement. So I can't wait to see what we continue to come up with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just kind of meant to connect with people in certain ways. And that song in particular was about my overthinking at pursuing a career in music. I was going through the interview process to work at NBC Sports
Mm-hmm.
at the time that I got this opportunity. And I was kind of given a choice. Do I continue going through the interview process for this position, or do I follow my dream and try to record, you know what I mean, the album and have the life that I've been working for.
Right.
And I'll be honest, at that point it was a little bit tough because I'm like, well, I'm getting a little bit older, and I was overthinking, you know, can I do this? Can I not do this? And I just decided to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
that song. So it's interesting that he wanted to be on a song that was about my overthinking. You know, it's just kind of affirming, like, okay, I think you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. So I think sometimes we tend to overthink, and it's like you think of like 7 or 8 different scenarios in your head, and you're like, no, it's not that serious.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
my brain off.
yeah. I think I
Right.
finally had to say, like, look, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it to the end. So, you know, and I was kind of tiptoeing in and out and started to care. I started to care actually older about what people thought. And I was like, you know what? Like, it's not going to happen if you do that. I
Right.
obviously already know that because otherwise I wouldn't went to Abbey Road if I
Yeah.
cared, you know? So,
Right.
so that was kind of, and I had just told somebody too, you should follow your dreams. So I was like, well, now I can't be a hypocrite because I'm telling
Yeah.
her to go, you know, pursue music because she should, because she was really good. And
Yeah.
now I have to do it. So that was kind of helpful too.
Yeah. So how did you end up working with Ryan Cabrera?
So it was funny because I had texted my manager just as a joke, and I was like, "You think Ryan Cabrera would do a song with us?" He was like, "I can ask." I was like, "What?" So then he showed him the songs, and he really loved Overthinking, and I was surprised because he said in an interview we just did that he's super picky, and I
Yeah,
didn't know that. So he listened to it and loved it and complimented me, and it was just again like, you're doing the right thing, you know.
of course.
So we shall see.
I think that's amazing because it's just like you're like, oh yeah, Ryan Cabrera, and it's like, let's reach out to him. Let's see if he's down.
Yeah, I always like to just say random things like that because if you don't, I had a professor that said if you don't put your hook in the water, you'll never catch a fish.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like I just throw things and this one stuck. So I was like, well, I'm glad I said that.
Yeah, I think that's so important because then when you dream big, like that happened for you,
Hmm.
right? And
And
then
it wouldn't have if I didn't say anything.
exactly. So always shoot for the stars because you never know. Like
Yeah,
you never know what's going to happen.
agreed.
What artists or genres of music have you been listening to during quarantine?
I got into vinyls actually. I got a record player. And I
Nice.
got into playing, yeah, I got into playing the Beatles and like Fats Domino and
Hmm.
Edith Piaf, if that's how I always feel like I say her name wrong.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got into like a lot of random stuff. Fleetwood Mac, Rod Stewart, John Mayer. Again, I kind of rediscovered like his first album and was like, yeah, I forgot. That's why I was doing this. And then obviously Coldplay.
Yeah, definitely. And I think during
That never stops.
no, Coldplay, like you think of all their music, but I think it's like it's so cool during quarantine because we have all this time on our hands, and it's like why don't we listen to albums from like 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, and it's like now you like really have time to dig in to all that great music, right?
Yeah, yeah, I heard Parachutes on vinyl and I was like, I didn't even know there was violin in this song because it's just the clarity of a vinyl and you're right, the focus of it because otherwise I'd put it on and kind of be doing something else and I was like staring at it spinning.
You're
So
like,
I was
what?
able to, yeah, I was like, this is amazing. It's my first vinyl, you know, first record player. I was like, oh, I can't believe I never did this before.
I love that. So when did you get your record player?
That was in April, I think. No, yeah, about yeah, April. Yeah, April and May.
Hmm. Very cool. Did you get it at a specific store or?
Ordered online. I think it was a gift. Yeah, it was a gift and for Christmas, and it came in late or something like that. So then I finally had gotten it in April.
But it's
The
just like
perfect time.
perfect time. It was like, yeah, it all lined up with quarantine and
Yeah,
November,
I was like,
right?
well, I guess I'm setting this up.
It's just like, oh, okay, well, now I have this record player. Now I can really spend as much time, more than enough time with it.
Yeah, I bought a bunch and I was like, this is great. It'll be good.
If you could change,
Livy and Rose. Sorry, I saw somebody say Livy and Rose.
if there's one thing you could change about the music industry, what would it be?
I think that there's a lot, and I've been very lucky and fortunate because people, that were surrounding me are saying be yourself and be you, but
Right.
I think that there's a lot of, hey, here's the thing you do and that works and that's really cool, but we want you to do this thing over here. And it's kind of confusing because you're like, but this is the thing that works, so why don't we take this and enhance this and hone in on this? And I've kind of seen that. I've been very lucky with people who are saying be you, be you, be you.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening to Avril Lavigne talk about in an interview her first album and saying like even though she had full kind of creative control, she still had to fight
Yeah.
for it. And I can see how that can be just because of egos involved and different things that happen. But I've been very fortunate. But I would definitely say that I could see how that is now, being more inside of it
Mm-hmm.
for
But
sure.
and always be true to yourself and your craft.
Yeah.
Like with Avril Lavigne, she came out, she was this punk rocker with like dark eyeliner, right? And then they tried to like, they're like, oh, but we want you to like look and act like Britney Spears. It's like, no, she's not that way.
Yeah, and she was a huge inspiration for Billie Eilish, so we might not have had her if she didn't, if she
Exactly.
wasn't herself. And yeah, I think that people see authenticity and they connect with that. And if you're being inauthentic, they might not know why they don't like you, but they don't like you. Um, so I try to do that. And if I'm gonna be denied, I'd rather be denied from myself than for something I'm faking, because then I won't know if you didn't like me or if you didn't like who I was pretending to be.
Right. No, I think that's so important. Like as an artist, be true to yourself and the right people will gravitate towards you.
Yeah.
What song do you wish you wrote and why?
Ooh, a surprise! It's gonna be a Coldplay song. Oh gosh, what song do I wish I wrote and why? I mean, there are a lot, but I think for for like a ballady type song, "Fix You." I think
Oh,
that's probably the most beautiful song I've ever heard.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, for upbeat song, "Juice" by Lizzo. No.
That was two different opposite ends of the
Yeah,
spectrum.
what are you gonna do? I told you my
Great song.
taste is eclectic.
Great song.
Yeah.
Covered that song? I think you should if you haven't.
I have, like I said, I perform with this band, the Rebel Kicks, and yeah, we'd break into that one occasionally.
Yes, so cool. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
I think the best advice I've ever been given would be to be yourself. My dad always says that to me whenever I'm like stressing about something and I'm on the phone with him. He's like, "Just be you, honey." My mom too. She's the same. She's like, "Just be you. Everybody love you." That's what they say, and I'm like, well, I don't know about everybody, but I think you guys are biased. But I'll try. So just be you. It's simple. It's to the point.
Yeah, don't try to be somebody else. Like, just be true to yourself.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to musicians during quarantine?
Learn how to live stream. I mean, because that's what everybody's doing. It took me a while to kind of get on it, and I'm still kind of figuring it out. But yeah, I think that's the new future, and why not? It actually makes sense if you can perform a concert and you can do it globally. You're just increasing your reach. Um, so learn how to live stream.
Definitely. Yeah, there's so many like weird technical things that we've all had to learn just because, I mean, you guys as musicians, you can't perform at the Knitting Factory. You can't perform
Right.
at like it's just like you're limited to where you can do things. So now everything has gravitated towards Twitch and Instagram Live and Facebook Live and all this other random stuff.
Yeah, it's true. And we're kind of, I think everybody at first is like, "Whoa, let's see how long this is going to last." And now
Yeah.
it's just kind of, it's just becoming a new thing that you can do. Even if things go back and you can perform, it's like, it is kind of cool sometimes to just go into your bedroom or wherever and then just be like, okay, I'm going to do this today and
Yeah.
not have to go anywhere. I mean,
No,
like I said, I was a busker, so I was
yeah.
carrying my own body weight and equipment, and I'm not light.
No,
So,
you're just like you're traipsing down the stairs like to Penn Station. You're like, oh my gosh, this guitar is like as heavy as
yeah,
me.
the elevator's broken, and I'm like, got a suitcase and a guitar in my back. I'm like, well, my back's going to be not the best later in life.
But the thing is with these live streams, it's like I have a friend who's in Denver and he goes live every Wednesday at 7. So I'm like, if I want music, I just go to his page because I know he's going to be there. So it's cool because then it's like
Yeah.
before we used to say like, oh, we have tickets to this show Saturday at 8 p.m. But now it's like all the shows are online. So it's like, please give us something to look forward to.
Yeah, yeah. No, I have a buddy that does the same thing. He talks about vinyls every Wednesday, and he gets people, if he's not there at 10, that they're like, it's like at 10 p.m. And if he's not there, they're like, where are you doing it today? And they're texting him and they're messaging me because they know I know him. And I'm like, I think he's going. I don't know.
And he talked about vinyls?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. What's his name?
Gary Grederson. It's oh, I'm blanking on the name. Recordholics Anonymous. Recordholics Anonymous. That's what it is. The his
On
thing.
IG?
On Facebook Live.
Facebook. Okay, because I'm always looking for things to
Yeah, yeah. So
watch, artists to watch. So I'm about that because I need to expand my music knowledge always.
yeah, yeah. And he's a character, so
Stuff. So this is the part of the show where you're gonna plug everything you're on. So Spotify, website, all that good stuff.
thank you. I know people will be very happy that you gave me this opportunity to say that. Yeah, so it's Tara Hack on Spotify, it's Tara Hack Music on Instagram, Tara Hack Music on Facebook, and iTunes as well, just Tara Hack, and my music is there. And December 4th will be the release of Overthinking with Ryan Cabrera.
Yay!
Everywhere good music is sold. I think that's the saying we use, or great music is sold.
Cool. So this is the part of the show where you're going to perform for us. And if anybody has questions for Tara, please put them in the chat and we will answer them after she's done performing. So,
Sure.
hey.
So this is a song that I was talking about before, actually. It's called Not My Wedding, But I Was There. And it started because we needed something to record at Abbey Road, and I wrote to Anthony Babino. I put "Not My Wedding ... but I was there." It's not going to be the title, but we'll work on something else. And he said, "No, absolutely, keep that." The wedding bells ring, then you know it's over. Reflection in the glass, screaming out, "I told you." I see no highs, only hit lows. You are the one place I'm dying to go. Waves of sadness as the choir they sing. All my mistakes, oh, they shine in your ring. I didn't know then, just what I know now. It would be our eyes that's hidden in the ground. I pretended, didn't care. I stayed quiet in my chair. Not my wedding, but I was there. But you walking down the aisle, leaving hand in hand. I wonder if I caught your eye, just a momentary glance. Wonder what you're thinking, smiling so wide. What's behind those eyes? So many things I miss out, many things left unsaid. So share love in an old house where we used to share a bed. And as you walk away, I can't think of anything to say. I pretended, didn't care. I stayed quiet in my chair. Not my wedding, but I was there. Oh, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah, the wedding bells ring, let me know it's over. I pretended, didn't care. I stay quiet in my chair. Not my wedding, but I was there. Hear the wedding bells ring, let me know it's over. My hair was on the guitar. Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is that it? Do you want me to do another?
Yeah, if you want.
Sure, I'll do another. So this song is called Let Go. It's about a breakup, but I titled it Let Go because of Avril Lavigne's first album was titled Let Go. I was waiting for you to choose me, to choose us. You say you'd always turn the car around, except the last time you walked out. Except the last time you walked out. I know it's easy for you to convince yourself that I'm the one to blame. So you build and you twist, just a story firm and the same. Just a story firm and the same. All my friends keep telling me that I should just move on. I should just let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go of you. Let go, let go, let go of you. But I cannot seem to. No, I cannot seem to. Nothing kills like a silence. And you act like you never meant it. Am I supposed to just forget it? And everybody says get over it, over it, over it, over it. But I don't want someone else's best, oh, I want it difficult. I should just let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go of you. Let go, let go, let go of you. But I cannot seem to. I cannot seem to. What a difference a year can make. Bitterness made us break. No, the memories fade away when they turn to yesterdays. Let go, let go, let go. 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 Let go, let go, let go of you. Let go, let go, let go of you. I cannot seem to. No, I cannot seem to. No, I cannot seem to. Hi. I'm back.
Thank you, thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. It's been such a pleasure.
Yes. Where do you want to perform next post-COVID?
Glastonbury. It's like the Madison Square Garden of England.
Have you been there before?
I've been to, well, no, I haven't been to where they had the concert, but I want to go so bad. But obviously I've been to England before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I guess it would be nice to perform at the bitter end. We were supposed to perform there right before everything happened. So thank you so much. I love your voice. Sorry, I had to say thank you to Colette.
Where would you like to collab? Who would you like to collaborate with next?
Who would I like to collaborate? Chris Martin. I'm just manifesting now at this point.
Manifesting it, and hopefully your manager will see this and make some things happen.
Can we make Chris Martin happen, Jason?
Yeah. Please.
Please.
Yeah. Where do you see your career in the next 5 years?
Glastonbury. No, I hope performing. My goal is my kind of top mark would be level of Ed Sheeran. So I'm striving for that and going as hard as I can to hit that.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
5 years, hopefully there.
Yes, 5 years. Like you said, manifesting things, because, right, we have to say it, speak it, write it down on a piece of paper. And once you manifest that, it all comes to the surface.
Yeah. It's true. I watched this movie called The Secret, which is kind of about that. And I wrote down in my notes on my phone, it was like, I will have a sync license by mid-November. And that's coming up. But I got a text from a manager that said, hey, after Thanksgiving, somebody who does movies wants to kind of talk with you. Basically, like, I told her about you and she's interested. And I looked at my thing and I was like, whoa, this works. And then I wrote another one down right after that.
Yeah. It's so important to have goals, because whether it's a weekly goal, a monthly goal, a 6-month goal, and have a big goal, because you always want to be striving for something bigger and better. And then once you hit that goal, you're like, okay, now what's the next thing I want to accomplish?
Correct. Yeah, no, absolutely. And some of my goals for the future are perform at the Thanksgiving Day Parade, because I've always wanted to do that, perform at the tree lighting, and perform at New Year's Eve. Who knows if we'll be doing that now? We'll probably have like a Zoom meeting for this.
I got it. But the thing is, with some of those tree lighting, New Year's Eve, it gets so cold that those people are literally like covered in hand warmers because
lip sync at New Year's Eve.
But I think that's awesome, because those are such huge events in New York City, and you're outside with your people.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never made that connection. It's a New York City thing, so I guess I'm just a New York City girl.
Yes, of course. Does anybody have any other questions for Tara?
Hi, Justin. I see Justin.
Hi, Justin.
If there's no questions, it's like going once, going twice.
Yeah. Have you picked up any hobbies during quarantine other than anything musical?
I impulsively bought a piano, and this was recently, because I know the notes. So I was like, I'll teach myself piano, because it's kind of like, are we going into lockdown again? Are we not? So I'm just prepared. So I'm prepared. I got my piano and I got my lessons, and so I'm working on that now.
Nice. Are you taking lessons with someone, or are you teaching yourself how to play?
I've always taught myself, and by teach myself, like online. So YouTube was actually Marty Schwartz was my teacher for that, and I'm watching somebody give me lessons. He's an English piano teacher, so I'm like, this guy's great.
Yeah, so cool. Like the power of YouTube. Like YouTube is awesome for everything.
Yeah. It saved me a lot of money from having to to buy a lot of lessons. I did buy them, but it saved a lot.
Where do you want to travel next?
Right before this happened, actually, like, got in touch with a promoter in England, and he was like, oh, I would be booking new shows right now, but COVID happened, and he was booking out until March of next year. So hopefully we still get to do that. So I'm hoping to travel there, or I would love to go to Ireland. And most of my travel ideas of where I want to travel, because it's like where I want to play also, so I think England or Ireland.
What's your next song going to be about?
I've been writing some stuff lately. I just started a song the other day. I said a comment in an email. I said, time goes by so fast and still so slow, or something like that. And it sparked this kind of idea about just time being weird because it's like it goes fast and yet it stands still, depending on where you are. So I think maybe something along those lines. That was an idea that I had. And yeah.
And time goes fast the older you get.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you're not in school writing down the date every day. You know what I mean? Like, cause you're like, what is it, Wednesday? And you're like, oh my God. Like, cause I have friends who are Jewish. So I'm like, oh, I miss Shabbat. And I always wish them, you know, Shabbat Shalom on Fridays. And I'm like, oh man, next week.
It's so funny that you bring up school though, because when I tell people time goes so fast as an adult, like I remember being in high school math class and I would just sit there and I'd look at the clock. And obviously if you look at the clock, you're like, it doesn't move.
Yeah.
Right?
And especially in your math class.
Your math class. So it's kind of funny that you said school because you're right. Like you don't date down every day. Like you look at your phone, you're like, okay, it's what day is it?
Yeah. Like I guess it's the 23rd, right?
I got it. It's Thanksgiving, it's Christmas, it's I don't even know. Maybe New Year's.
Right. I guess we'll know. It doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah. So you said where you were going, where people can find you. What do you have coming up in the next, I guess, towards the end of the year? You have your single dropping next week. What else do you have coming up? Any live streams? Anything else?
Yeah, we do actually have a live stream. So December 14th, we did a live stream a few weeks ago in partnership with the Florence Nightingale Global Health. And they are dealing with kind of, you can donate to them directly at fngh.org, are dealing with helping out the victims of the typhoons in the Philippines. There's been multiple. It was Goni, and now there was Ulysses, and I think there was another one. Yep. So we're doing another one on December 14th at 7 p.m., and it's going to be on my Facebook music page, so Tara Hack Music.
Yeah. So if you want to tune into the live stream, please make sure to follow Tara on Facebook as well as Spotify and all these other channels so you can follow her journey. Also, December 4th, the song with Ryan Cabrera. I just want to thank you so much for coming on my show. It was such
Thank you.
Chat. And do you have any final words for our audience?
Just thank you for whoever tuned in. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much for asking me to do this. It's been such a pleasure. Hey, AJ. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So much. And like I said, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Tara and all of her musical endeavors. And if you don't already, please follow me because I do this show all the time, Vibin with Ashley Live, and I interview amazing musicians just like Tara.
Thank you. And yes, you should follow her. And I appreciate the compliment in that as well.
Yes. We'll have a wonderful holiday. Stay safe. And we'll see you soon.
You too. See you. Be well.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Night.